At the end of July, I put out a video titled Why My Album Won't Be on Spotify. I wanted to voice some of my thoughts on streaming, how I'm experimenting with the traditional album release model, and how independent artists like me can monetize their music by using a mix of physical media, streaming, and subscription sites like Patreon to make a living. That video blew up and provoked a lot of discussion, some good, some bad, and some downright bizarre. Why I decided to give up on my music career. It's all a swamp. Get out if you can and do something like becoming a mother. No one cares. Someone somewhere cares about me. Someone somewhere. Okay, so I thought it would be useful to revisit the topic and answer some questions about my plan for Spotify. First of all, a small correction. I misspoke at the 3-minute 45 mark in the original video. This isn't 0.003 cents, but 0.003 of a dollar or 0.3 of a cent.
Likewise, this was meant to be 1.2 cents.
Not 0.12 cents. Thanks to those who pointed that out. Can I use the excuse that I'm British? Most definitely not. Secondly, I'm not boycotting Spotify entirely, which I do mention at the end of the first video, nor is my album going to be CD-only release. I'm releasing a single on the first of each month on streaming services until July 2024, with the whole album out before my 34th birthday.
You can have Chicago back just for a little while.
I want to see how the algorithm treats these monthly releases. I reasoned that many of us listen to an artist's This Is playlist anyway, rather than individual albums, so all the songs will be in one place as we go. It's an experiment to see how these uploads affect my Spotify algorithm. If it doesn't work, no harm done, but at least I know the truth. Anyone who's bought the CD will also get an accompanying digital download, so you don't have to worry about how to move it to your phone or laptop. It will be super easy. It will be super high quality. It will be super sexy Heartbreak. Finally, vinyl enthusiasts, I hear you. I'm working on it. Sign up to my newsletter to stay in the know. Okay, let's look at some of these comments, shall we? Eek, not a good idea. You may not make money off streams, but artists do make money on merch from your fans. And if you aren't on Spotify, that's limiting serious reach in your market. If Taylor Swift and Garth Brooks couldn't change the game by protesting Spotify when they did, I doubt you're making much of an impact. I think I've answered the first part of this when I say that I will be releasing the songs as monthly singles. As for making an impact, to quote John F. Kennedy, one person can make a difference and everyone should try. I don't pretend to think that I'll make a difference when Taylor or Garth didn't, but I'll give it a go. I want what I do to be a blueprint to help other independent musicians navigate this evolving industry, and that means I have to find some of this out for myself. So basically, you feel you're more entitled to a share of the market than any other rightful player in the market? Have you ever learned about supply and demand? This attitude will absolutely result in your music stuck in a niche. You will fail as a musician because you fail in business. I'm a big believer in Kevin Kelly's rule of 1,000 true fans. If you can build an audience of 1,000 true fans who support you and your work, then you can make a decent living from your art. I'm delighted to say that that milestone has been met and the album is now officially going to be profitable. That certainly wouldn't have been the case if I relied solely on streaming income. Success as a musician doesn't have to be private jets and stadium tours. Making a profit on a record in 2023, I'd say that's a win. You had a choice, love. Become a musician or become a YouTuber. You chose to become a YouTuber. Now sit in it. I love this. YouTube has been the ultimate tool in making my career as a musician work by building a direct connection with my audience. I know some people prefer watching video essays or gear reviews over listening to my original music, and that's okay. I'm fortunate because I really love making music and I really love making videos. I don't feel I need to separate the two. It's all part of being a 21st century musician. Here's a splash of cold water. Social media platforms give careers to people who shouldn't have careers in music. They're just not good enough. Most artists on social media platforms aren't going to become rich and famous because they don't deserve it. People who have built their careers in social media have as much in common with real musical artists as an Instagram model has with a Florence Pugh. Anne Hathaway or Charlize Theron. Bring back the gatekeepers. Firstly, great examples, great actors, point proven. But back in the day, I used to play a lot of open mics wherever, whenever I could, hoping to be discovered in the old-fashioned way. But these days, you are much more likely to be discovered through the work you put out on social media. Justin Bieber, The Weeknd, and Megan Thee Stallion are examples of artists who found massive success online, and then artists like Dodie, Orla Gartland, and Ren are just killing it using these methods. Being able to make a living as a musician is very different to becoming rich and famous. Being a rock star has its downfalls anyway, but I do think the rise of the middle-class musician is incredibly important. And this isn't just for those creating original music, but for music educators too, as you'll see in plenty of my YouTuber friends. They're teaching the next generation and building communities when music education is being defunded absolutely everywhere. If you're a musician starting out, why not give it a go? There are always those who criticize from the sidelines, but what matters in life is giving it your best shot. And if you think that YouTubers aren't proper musicians, check out my video, YouTube Musicians Can't Play Live. Ultimately, it's the best way to connect with like-minded people wherever they are. There's someone out there who will like what you do. You just need to find them. I have a career and income for 7 to 8 years only because of Spotify, but I don't think I have enough of a fan base to sell records, but I have gained 100+ millions of streams, even as a small artist. It's passive income, but I'm trying to find ways to boost my active income, as in producing for others, and in the future, perhaps try to sell physical copies again. I have about 100,000 monthly listeners, and in a few years, I think it will be around 200 or 300 monthly, which will be enough for quite a comfortable passive income. But it is very interesting. What is sustainable for an independent artist these days and in 10 years? First of all, congratulations. Those numbers are amazing. I think that if you can find ways to connect with a fraction of the people who've enjoyed your work, the top 1% of your fans, then you have a great shot at offering some sort of physical memento of your music. But you can't just rely on one platform. You're building a house on rented land. I have YouTube as my top way of reaching people, but then I have other platforms and Patreon and my newsletter to connect with my audience on a deeper level. I also know who my audience are, and depending on the genre and demographic, your audience might be more inclined to support you in a specific type of way, maybe through live streaming on Twitch whilst you're producing the next track. It's definitely harder if you don't want to showcase your personality. I know a lot of musicians who just do not want to talk on camera, and I found it nerve-wracking at first too, but I knew it was necessary. As for physical products, I'm a fan of CDs because they're an artifact for my audience to hold, rather than just holding my music on their phone. It takes effort to produce and post, but you don't have to copy what I do. How about building a community and releasing the stems to them of your tracks? Experiment and see what works. Everything is a process of trial and error, and luckily the cost of entry is zero. So how exactly does Mary Spender make money? She must make money somehow to be able to travel and pay rent in what looks to be a pretty large apartment. Respectfully, how does she make that work exactly? Great question. I've been full-time on YouTube for over 4 years, but I don't just rely on the ad revenue. Instead, I have multiple streams of income and have turned this hobby into a media company. And I was really honored to be asked to deliver a lecture on this exact topic for Harvard Business School. I have filmed a version of that lecture for anyone who's interested, and it's available on my course site. There's a link below. Check it out. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was useful. I really enjoy these types of new music business videos, so if you have any particular topics you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments below. And as always, I'll be seeing you here very, very soon.